Hi, I'm David Carr. I am the chair of EVV CON 2022, coming up on April 23rd. And I'm here with Barbara Beckley, who's going to be sharing a presentation with us about elevating your social media profile, making sure that when people find you online, that what they find, they're going to like. Tell us a little bit more about that, Barbara. Just try and give us the short version at first, and then we can talk some more.
Well, first of all, thank you, David, for me being one of the presenters at I can't wait for the summit. Well, the biggest thing I always tell people is, who are you? Who are you first? Understanding who you are. And you're probably saying, well, I know who I am, but you know what? Other people don't. And you have to persuade them when you get on social media. And I always tell people social media is social, separated social, and it's just on media. So you're just creating those relationships. And when I come to do my presentation, I want to dig a little bit deeper and show you some little strategies, just some little strategies on how to really conquer that and be more relationship person, more so than I just need to post here. I got to throw this post over here and hopefully somebody will like me, hug me, or whatever. That's on social media. So that's basically I'm going to work, because it's all about the strategy of it, be it if it's a personal way, how you're doing it, or in a business life. So they're going to get a chance to know you. I'm going to help you with that.
Okay, cool. Well, I feel like I've been doing that with the EVV CON promotion. I'm all over LinkedIn saying, look at me over here, register, see this link, click there, please. We have this great event, and we do have a dozen wonderful speakers lined up, and we want to get them the best audience that we can. I mean, they're all volunteering their time. Now, I was introduced to you by Linda Marie Miller, who a couple of years ago was second in the world championship of public speaking, who told me that she had taken a course with you on elevating the social media aspect of virtual. And that she said, I think Barbara will be a person who is going to leave people with some concrete things that they can do afterwards. Can you talk a little bit about that? About, you won some fans. You made a good impression.
Especially with Linda Marie. I love her dearly. But yeah, one of the things I told myself over maybe 7 years ago when I started creating my own business is I said, okay, one of the things we have to do is we're always looking for clients. We're looking for people to get to know us. And, we're wonderful and great and everything, but I always tell people it's not about you. It's about everybody out there. It's about your potential clients, your potential business partners. And I created what I said, I want to create like a blueprint, something that's like a checklist to let people know how you should show up in social media and how to get those likes. And not just to say, oh, I got a like, but really, like I said earlier, building that relationship. And I taught a course that Lisa Marie was in. It was a 6-week workshop that I did with a lot of other ladies. It's called Social Media for the Biz Queens. How do you show up? And I said, you know what? I think I want to take that on and just help, everybody with that, because I was struggling. See, I'm just not saying this because I'm all knowing. I was struggling with it. And I always say to myself, okay, when you see a problem, I always like to look for solutions. So I thought by putting something together really easy and simple, something that you can follow, and I have to say, okay, now here's another worksheet that I got to look at and try to figure out how to figure myself out and in social media. So I put something together for everybody, David, so they can just really go in there, show up, get the results, and don't feel like they're not getting anything done when it comes to the social media area. And don't be so scared of it. Because some people I've been hearing, they said, oh, social media is like a jungle. And I said, I want to stop that. I don't like that. Doesn't have to be a jungle. I know.
There are trolls out there. That's it's a reality. But no, that's interesting. And that's something that I try and do too, is see if I can identify a problem and solve it for myself, but also see if I can share it with other folks. So I appreciate that spirit of generosity, and if you're generous, it tends to come back to you, right? Isn't that that's part of the mechanics of these things? How did you get into this? Are you a media person, or you have a Toastmasters connection? I take it, right? You are from the Toastmasters world, or?
I've been in the Toastmaster world for over 12 years, and I climbed up the ladder in that area, being a leader and a slash speaker. And I found my voice through Toastmasters. I always tell people, and I know we're not supposed to sell, but I'm going to sell Toastmasters for you and everybody else because it helped me. David, I was the shyest person 13 years ago, the shyest. We wouldn't even be talking right now if I didn't join Toastmasters. I wouldn't even be speaking on the platform right now if it wasn't for Toastmasters, because it really helped me guide me into understanding that your voice is so important and you need to put it out there and stretch it to people. So with that, everything else came to play. It was like, all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I've been doing insurance for over 40 some years, but you know what? I'm not really liking it that much. I know you're like, after 40 years, Barbara, really? Still doing the insurance during the day, but I created my brand, my business through me speaking and really understanding people and looking at people and saying, you know what, maybe you're like me. You're doing something, you're like, I want to change. So then I became this purpose consultant for people. And then I said, well, wait a minute. Once they find out what they really want to do, people need to know who they are, right? Right, David? They need to know what they're doing for the world, making a difference in life, right? So I said, well, the only way to do that is they got to get visible. And that's when I got into the one-on-one interviews I do. I have a streaming TV show. And then I said, I'm going to battle social media for them. And that's what got me to really, yeah, okay. That was it. That was the bug.
Well, aren't you supposed to be like 18 or 20, maybe 22 at the most to be social media savvy? Can you explain TikTok to me?
I love TikTok. Well, one thing, just real quickly, since you brought up TikTok, first, I always tell people, make sure that's your platform, that you're, like I said, strategy now, that you're trying to do. If you want people to know your personality, you're having fun, you just do things out the whim, that's TikTok. And TikTok is very popular right now because people like to see just who you are. They don't want this, well, my name is Barbara Beckley and I do this. They want to be like, hey, Barbara's jamming. She's dancing around. She's around here drinking her soda pop. And they want to see that. And you get more likes. And it's funny over the more crazy things you do. But then that shows people that you're real, that you're authentic. And that's what all TikTok is about, being authentic in front of people.
Is there any particular social network that you focus more energy on? Is it LinkedIn or any of the others?
My really focus is Facebook and Instagram. That's kind of my main focus, but I look at all because when I'm teaching and I'm doing workshops, I always introduce all the platforms because just because I like Facebook, David, you might say, well, I need to resonate to TikTok because that's what I'm drawn to. And that's where I think the people that I'm trying to, really get to is to that point. So that's another thing of strategy. You have to make sure that you understand each platform. And this is a little bit what I'm going to be talking about on April 23rd. You got to understand each platform. So you build a relationship with the platforms first, then you can start building a relationship by meeting the people through those platforms because now you know how the platforms work.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, this event is largely focused on the idea of speaking on the virtual platform. What's the connection between that and the social media?
Speaking, well, I always tell people one thing about social media, you always want to show up in speaking. I mean, a lot of people do like Facebook Live, some people do interviews, third-party interviews, whatever you're doing, you want to be out there in front of the people. I mean, it's one thing to just type something a little like, okay, this is a little nice cat, ha, 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 or the cute little babies or the pictures. That's cute. And that brings attention. That's the personality part. But people want to hear what you have to say. Don't hide behind it. They don't want you hiding behind it. Again, what did I say earlier? It's about relationship building. Can't build a relationship if I don't see your face and see you talking and know who you are, right?
Yeah, well, all these people who show up in Zoom meetings or whatever meetings with their cameras turned off.
Put the cameras off.
Have to.
Yeah.
I mean, there are reasons to do it. I mean, if you got to blow your nose, turn the camera off. But
I always tell people, you don't eat. Okay. Like you said, there's a disclaimer. Blowing your nose, go to the washroom, maybe a phone call came in real quickly, whatever. But some people leave it on through the whole time. And I'm like, how do I get a chance to know you? Especially if it's a networking function, I still don't understand that. If it's a networking function, somewhere down the line, the camera should come on. Somewhere down the line. But that's just my take.
Yeah, well, I mean, in the Toastmasters world with the contest done online, particularly a humorous contest, you can't even see people laughing. I mean, it's bad enough that you don't hear them laughing, but at least you could see them going,
Yeah.
That will at least make you feel
You
like
feel
your
like
joke
the
landed.
joke worked.
Otherwise,
It's like,
you're just talking to dead air. It's tough.
yeah, it is tough with the humor part. Yeah.
Let's come around to it one more time. The think table topics, 60 seconds. What are you going to share with people and why should they tune in?
Well, one thing I want to share is, first of all, how to step up in social media. Second of all, really get to understand the value that you bring. Okay. And third of all, give you a small cheat sheet, as I call it, just a little checklist of how to do that on social media so you can get that information back to you so you can get to kind of know people. It's the first thing, like I said, building the relationships, not so much of the selling and everything, because people just do that quickly, especially on LinkedIn. For some reason, they love selling to me a lot. I don't know about other people, but they don't even know me. They're selling me something. Yes. I'm like, you don't know what I like. So how are you selling me something? So that's what I want to bring to everybody on April 23rd is to, once those three aspects, I believe that they can move forward and kind of like social media a little bit and see it's their friend. It's not their enemy.
All right. And tell me what you think about the conference. Well, really what I want you to do is tell people what a fabulous idea this conference is and why they should attend.
Okay, if you haven't heard about Elevate the Value of Virtual, this conference on April 23rd, 2022, then you're undecided on the rock. That's all I have to say. You need to be there. There's going to be some wonderful speakers, presenters. I mean, David Carr, he's been working hard behind the scenes and in front of the scenes to make sure that you're going to get wonderful information. And it's just about, again, building relationships, getting that information so you can move that needle, especially in the virtual world right now. And that's where we are right now. And just to let everybody know, it's going to be there for a while. I know people want to go back to the way it was. David, I don't think that's going to happen. So we need to work it and know how to work it. And this virtual summit is going to really teach you how to do that in all aspects. So I'm excited. I can't wait.
Well, I think the new challenge this year is going to be a lot about hybrid, having meetings that are partly online and partly offline. And that's a whole different ball of wax.
I know. That's another world.
Right,
but, either way it goes, always show up for yourself. That's what I say. Just show up as you.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Barbara. And I look forward to seeing your presentation on April 23rd.